Hi everyone, we are back with a series of CaseCom Lab, and this session is about SaReGaMa case competition named TalentWood Season 5. CaseCom Lab is an initiative by PrepBee which helps students to navigate through case competitions and crack them with the semi-finalists, finalists of those rounds. Now today we have with us Abhyankar and Mayank who have navigated through SaReGaMa's TalentWood Season 4 and three rounds, one slide to sell your big idea, and a virtual presentation to a panel, and a grand finale in Mumbai in front of SaReGaMa senior management. This is all it takes to reach semi-finalist stage, and they both have proved it, and they have flipped the script. Welcome, Abhyankar and Mayank.
Thank
Getting
you.
Thank you
straight
for
into
such a,
it, yeah,
I was
yeah.
saying
So
thank you for such a lovely introduction.
we are really excited to have you on the show, and to get straight to it, we would like to understand what is your background and a brief introduction about yourself.
So
Okay,
I
Abhyankar, you
would be
can move ahead
starting.
first.
Okay. So hello everyone. My name is Abhyankar. Prior to MBA, I had 3 years of experience with TCS. After that, I chose my MBA to do from SMHID in the field of business analytics. During my MBA only, I completed my internship from Caterpillar. After that, currently I am associate at Bain& and Company.
Yeah, so hi everyone. My name is Mayank Varma, and I've done my MBA in Business Analytics from CMHRD. And post that, I have done my BTech from Galgottias College of Engineering and Technology. Currently, I'm an associate at Bain and Company as well. So, a brief about me and Abhyankar. We both have been teammates in almost all the case competitions we have had together, and we also have been roommates. So it goes beyond the teammate boundaries. We are more like brothers, and hence idea pitching and having a common narrative was never an issue between us.
That's really nice intro though. So I was coming to the structure of that case com. So how did you get to know about Talentwood, and what was the structure of the, like, how does the rounds look like in Talentwood?
Okay, so I personally, apart from all the professional certificates and all the degrees I have, I am a musician and I specialize in multiple instruments and I do sing as well. So I got to know about Talentwood through a musician friend of mine who was actually very enthusiastic about this specific case comp, but he didn't have a team. And I pitched this idea forward to Abhyankar that we should definitely look into something called Talentwood. And Abhyankar was also very delighted and wanted to know more about what's around, or, I mean, what was the main case, what needs to be done. So this was basically how I got introduced into this, and I introduced this case comp to Abhyankar.
So after I read about Talentwood uh, through multiple platforms, majorly on Unstop, so I got to know that there are multiple cases and we can work on one specific case. One case fascinated me, the case was revolving around retro music, and I am also a fond level of retro music, and that is the reason why I insisted Mayank as well that we should pick this particular case to go forward with.
That's really nice. So now, since we all know that Talentwood is currently going on and the quiz round is almost over, so we'll straight away went to the second round, which is the one slide solution. So how did you navigate? How did you approach the case studies? May I know?
Oh, Abhyankar, you want to take this?
So yes, so basically for us, I think that was a two-slide solution in the second round itself. So what was asked from us, basically we kept the approach very simple. That first we will do the research, the market research. What comes under market research is your primary research, your secondary research, benchmarking, plus your channel trend research. After that, getting insights from all the data that we have got, sitting together, coming to a solution, uh, identifying who would be our key customers or end users. So this was our whole journey throughout the case competition. But in this particular case, so let's say when we were solving the primary research, so there should be, before primary research, there should be object setting before primary research. So there are few of the object setting that we have done. So for example, understanding the behavior of the consumer, the perception of the consumer, and which channel do they consume much more, and what will be the roadblocks over it. So these were the few of the objectives, and then we created few of the questions which were in the format of a funnel, so that we can gain maximum insights from the respondents. I think we did around 60 surveys and 10 case interviews as well for primary research. For secondary research, it was majorly the market trends across the internet platform. We did channel trends research as well. Why? Because we wanted to understand for a solution that which channel would be best suited for our solution to be proposed on. So we took few of the channels like Instagram, like YouTube Shorts, your Snapchat, Spotify, Savan. So again, we did research on that. Plus, we did the competitive benchmarking as well. That what is the white space? Where can SaReGaMa expand? Uh, in addition to that, where SaReGaMa is basically lagging as well. So these were the few research points I think Mayank can take for the second part of it.
Yeah, so
Uh,
we chose the
Before,
yeah.
hi Mike, sorry. So before
Yeah,
moving ahead with the approach part, I would like to know like what was exactly the case problem, because we know they give you a
sure.
PDF of 2 pages or something. How did you break down and come to the conclusion that this is the problem statement you want to solve?
Correct. So we were given to choose out of the two case that we had. I don't recall what the second case was, but the case that we picked was to introduce retro music to new generation, the Gen Zs. So we chose the retro music case. The reason it stood out was that Saregama already has a very valuable asset. That was its music catalog, complete music catalog. So rather than asking how Saregama could have created something new, we wanted to explore how we could unlock more value and add something new to the flavor. So our initial hypothesis was that Gen Z did not actually like dislike the retro music. We thought the bigger issue might be that retro music was not being projected well to the new generation. This became the question we wanted to investigate further, and hence we came up with the name Retro Reloaded, New Beats for New Years. So this was basically how we drafted the entire thing.
Okay, so I have one more question since Abhyankar mentioned about the research part, the primary research and secondary
Mhm.
research. So, according to you, how important marketing and market research is to you? And this year, student, how they can approach for the primary research?
Okay, so understanding the market research, we need to first understand what the entire case was. We understood that we had to introduce retro music to the new generation, the upcoming generation. If we wouldn't have done a primary research, we wouldn't have actually known that a specific genre that is being projected to the new years will be actually beneficial in promoting the further uses. So primary research actually plays a very major role when it comes to ideation of any new marketing idea, or let's say projection of a new strategy that we want to implement. Market research actually holds a very deep deep uh, setting in the whole environment. So without it, I don't think that any of the process that you are going to do after like having a product or a service that you want to pitch ahead, without market research, everything and anything can fail. So it acts basically as a foundation that what needs to be served, where it needs to be served, how it needs to be served.
In addition to Mayank, I would like to add a point. I always suggest my juniors as well. If you have 10 days of time to solve a case competition and prepare a PPT, you should invest at least 4 to 5 days to the entire market research. And you should always take feedback on your questions. You should always be willing to change your questions if there is any feedback from a particular person. And if you should always funnel your questions so that you can get maximum insights from the respondents. So these are the few suggestions that I always give to the juniors and the MBA students as well.
Okay, now I'm coming to the next question. Like when you work upon and come to the solution part, so did like as far we see marketing research is considered, financial are also plays an important role in any solution. So how did you arrive at that and what was your approach behind it?
You want to take this question, Abhyankar?
So the approach was financials was not a very big aspect of our case in particular, because the solution that we were presenting was that we can present retro music as a new trend amongst the influencers. So we divided influencers in multiple categories as per their followers, and we thought that the only financial metric that would be taken in place would be paying those influencers. So I don't think this case was much big of a problem in terms of finances, but only in the influencers part. So I think we covered that in a bit portion, that if there are macro influencers, there are big stars as well. So again, categorizing them into a segment of followers, and then uh, throwing few of the numbers assumptions that this is what we can offer to them to start a trend on retro music based on the Saregama retro catalog.
Yes, and this was based on Instagram. Now let's talk about YouTube, which is again considered as one of the most well-known streaming platform. Saregama already held like they already have their own channel. So promoting music over there was not a very difficult thing and wouldn't have impacted their financials a lot. What we also see currently is if some type of shorts or sometimes or some type of clip gets a big boom, other channels starts uploading that as well. So promoting on YouTube was not a very big problem, and hence the financials were sorted at that point.
Okay, so can we see, went through the PPT that you have showcased to there, that you have submitted, if you can present it here?
Sure, Bianca, do you have the PPT with you right now?
So I don't have the PPT right now. Can you
Okay,
share it?
just a second. I need to check where the PPT is. Talent word. I might have it somewhere. Yeah, cool. Here it is. I hope you're able to see my screen.
Yeah, it's visible.
Cool. So this was our two-slider PPT.
Okay, so I have one question over here. So when students
Yeah,
are approaching, right, two slides are quite, limitations when it comes to space and all. So how did you come up with the idea that you wanted to include these things only in this two slider? Because you can include n number of things, right? So what was
correct.
your thinking behind, including these pointers?
Okay. So what I actually feel is primary and secondary research are one of the most important thing that needs to be mentioned whenever you are doing some type of research. Presentation always needs to hold a primary and secondary research section because ultimately it will again, as I had already mentioned earlier, it forms a foundation for you. So without that foundation, you can actually not go ahead with the entirety of your like storytelling. So you have to identify the pain points, you have to identify the white spaces, you have to identify the gray areas. Apart from this, we also, if you can see on the first page, we have the competitor analysis over here. So we also need to know that where we are jumping into, what we need to introduce, what are the competitors doing. Without knowing that, we cannot, let's say if I'm creating a bottle of water, if I'm packaging a new water bottle, right, or bottle of water, if I'm trying to sell it without actually knowing that what Kinley or Bisleri, etc. are doing, what are their strengths, what are their weaknesses, where is the white space, without that, I cannot actually project my product in front of the entirety of the crowd. So that's why these things actually need to be there in the presentation. Channel trend was something which we actually showed that how our music will be will be consumed more by the consumer. What was actually the number of percentage of people who use internet actually use these platforms. So as far as we were able to get the user percentage, we can actually see it in the column over here. So this actually indicated that at least this percent of crowd can be catered with the channel that we are trying to sell it off at. So let's say Instagram at 77.9% number of internet users. So these 77.9% people can be actually catered with the Instagram influencers that was actually mentioned earlier. Again, we had also written that preferred music platform discovery channels and all the influencers. So overall, to give a storyline a very like uh, like single streamlined flow, we had created this in the first place. Thus, as far as the virtual round and the PPT submission comes to aspect and play, we know that this is either a one or a two slider. We always recommend to go for more slides, not just because let see again, if you have like one slide, if you're trying to present it in one slide, there will be less content. It will not be more explanatory. If you have two slides and that's the top edge that they can go for, this is something that you should actually like use more and capitalize on the opportunity that you're getting. So adding some more details in this wouldn't have hurt, but slide needs to be like more fully readable and can project a complete storyline that you wants to follow it.
That's
I
really
want
nice.
to add,
Yeah.
I want to add a point over here that prior to even start making the PPT, we discussed the entire approach, the entire research, the insights that came out of primary and secondary research, and after that only we started doing the PPT, right? So whatever our solution is, any point that is supporting that particular solution, maybe in the primary research, in the secondary research, or if we have to include the channel trend or competitive analysis or benchmarking, we will include that thing. So basically, everything in the solution and the evidence of all the pointers of the solution is added in the PPT. So that is prior to making the PPT. So yes, so we can make a proper storyline for it, uh, and then we can lay it out into two slides or in one slide.
Correct. So
Yeah.
actually there were a five-pointer discussion that we were going like what is the main problem, what will be the consumer insight, what is our core idea, how do we execute it, and how do we measure it. So basically these were some things that we had already decided preparing this slide, and whatever was not actually adding the value to our solution, that were actually excluded from the slide.
Right.
Okay, so I have one question. This is from the student side. So, if you can share your journey from research data to strategy building, like how does it look like? So, it will be helpful for the student because they seem pretty confused, like where they should start from.
Okay. So Abhyankar, I think you are the better person to answer this question.
I can
Yeah,
take
because
the research part.
Abhyankar is someone
So
who works more around research. He's a like pro in our group who does research. So I think you should go ahead with this.
nothing as such. But first of all, what I did always was to understand what the current company situation is. So read about SaReGaMa or any company whose case competition you are really part of. Read about the company, read about the problems, read about the products, and this should be irrespective of the problem statement that you are right now uh, going to tackle. Then when you will get a proper understanding about the company, the channels, about channels of the company, the products of the company, the markets that the company is in, then you will get a proper idea to tackle that particular problem statement. Then you hit the problem statement, you read the problem statement, then you have to form some kind of objectives that I have already told, that who will be my end user. This is one of the major question that you should be catering in a particular case competition. Who will be my end user? What are the end users' perspective? What is the behavior? Why they would buy my product, or why would they change their perspective to have my service? So again, you have to list down all of these questions that you need answer for. Then you have to create questions based on as a survey, and again it should be as a funnel, and the question should not be very big questions. The survey should not be very big, and it should not be very small. It should be of a good length so that the respondent do not be bored, and you can get maximum insights of it. Once the primary research is done and you are in talks with people for case interviews, you will understand their perspective and understand the problem statement a bit better. Till now, you are not thinking about solution yet. After that, you go do the secondary analysis, secondary research. You will get to know about the market trends, where are the white spaces, the white areas, so that you can target those based on your problem statement. Then you will get a proper idea, a proper roadmap, that what else you require in the area of research to get to a solution. So for example, I did primary research, I did secondary research, then I got to know that I need to do competitive analysis as well, I need to do channel trend analysis as well, I need to include influences as well. So after that only you can tell that these are the things that you require data for from the internet. Then you sit based on all the insights you got. So for example, in our case, I would take two specific insight. One insight was that Gen Z thinks that retro music is cool, but they are not able to discover it in a particular channel. Second insight was that they were consuming the short video format very much, like Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts. So again, from these two insights, you can make a particular solution, and you can discuss with your team that this is the solution that I have came from. Mayank came with his own set of solutions that he came up to. So again, that is the whole journey that we went through. If Mayank wants to add something in this.
No, I think you pretty much covered everything.
I
So
have one
I would have
question
suggested, yeah.
actually. When you
Sure.
mention about the funnel part, so may I know what exactly you mean by the funnel?
So again, funnel means that you want to direct a respondent to a particular insight. So for example, funnel means a question and after that a following question. So let's say in this case, do you like retro music? And if I say yes, okay, so retro music, what do you mean by retro music? Retro music is 90s, 50s music or 80s music. Which music do you like? Then he will say, no, 50s is too old, 80s are okay. I like Rishi Kapoor songs, I like this songs, I like that song. So you will come to a funneled approach that, okay, these person like retro music, but they like retro music of after 70s or after 80s. They do not like before 70s or 80s. So you will get a good proper insight that yes, we have to pitch our idea in such a way that only the retro songs which are used would be after 70s or 80s. So this is the funnel approach that I particularly always try to embed in the primary research.
Okay, now coming to the next round, which is virtual presentation, where only top team, 20 teams will get selected. So how does it look like, and what sort of questions they really ask? Because I think 10 minutes you'll get to present your solution to the panel, right? And excluding the Q&A. So how did you explain it? Because these are two slides. And what sort of questions pop out of from the jury?
So there were multiple questions that came from the jury, but again, if we talk about the 10 minutes round, the starting 6 to 7 minutes actually went ahead with how we are going to explain our entire presentation. Again, if you are creating a two-slider presentation, it needs more time to explain your entire presentation. Like we had a complete two-slide deck, so this was our second slide, and if you are presenting a two slider, it needs more time than explaining a one slider. If let's say one slider takes hardly 4 to 5 minutes, whereas two slider needs around 6 to 7 minutes to finish. So once we were at the end of the seventh minute, questions started popping in such a manner that like we had to be on our toes to answer every bit of it. So I recall one question which actually Abhyankar reminded me today morning, which was how would we A/B test this entire scenario? So this was one of the questions that popped up. So we had to be on our feet. Like again, when it comes to questions, it is not something that you need to be prepared for beforehand. Questions are something which you have to deal at that point only. Preparing anything for related to your presentation, preparing any sort of questions before your presentation can just help you, but not always provide you an upper hand. What needs to be done is you should know your case entirely, how your company, that the company which case comp you're working on, may it be SaReGaMa, may it be any XYZ other case competitions. You actually need to know that what company needs, how they're actually working, and how your solution can actually fit to their working approach. So if you are well aware about this, I think answering questions will not be that difficult when it comes to that aspect.
That's really nice. Now, I would like to straight away goes to the this year case competition, because students are really excited for this year case study, because you understand how they think, how what they are looking for the jury actually, and what a strong solution actually look like, because you have been inside the SaReGaMa case competition. So let's talk about this year case, looking at the problem SaReGaMa has put in front of student this year, and what's different from when you competed and what has changed.
So when we were competing, the case was more about the music discovery and content related problem it was. And this year's case, which as far as we have gone, it's more about experience creation. So this takes an entirely different approach on how you will be going ahead. Again, this will again need some prelim steps, including your market research. As Abhyankar already mentioned, you need to focus more on your market research to come to a concrete solution. But this year's like case competition is more about experience creation and like competitive positioning of the entire set that they are trying to create.
Adding to that, I feel that our problem statement was much more specific. That retro music for Gen Zs. So we got the end user beforehand as well, and we got a specific problem statement. When reading the problem statement this time around, it is a broad problem statement that you need to, cover majority of the aspects. You need to cover the finances as well. You need to cover the marketing, and there is no direct solution to it. You need to study about the particular cultural festival, how it is done, how the competitors do these kind of programs, and what do people like about these festivals. So yes, this is a particularly different case from what we have approached.
So now I have one question, because last year SaReGaMa may be targeting some other audience and they have some different problem solution, right? And this year it is quite different. So what do you think they are heading towards, and what is their vision, looking at both the case problem?
I
You want
think
to take this question?
SaReGaMa, yeah.
Yeah,
So I think
go ahead, go ahead.
SaReGaMa is already very rich in music catalog. So we recognize SaReGaMa with the name of music. And I think that SaReGaMa wants to spread their wings in the area of this festival culture as well, where uh, they want to do marketing of their company basically to increase the reach to the end user about the company SaReGaMa. So this is what I feel. If you want to add anything, Mayank.
Yeah.
Hello.
Mayank, would you like to add some points?
No, I feel it's the same. So again, uh, whatever Abhyankar has said, he basically covered the entirety of the solution that I was going to pitch up ahead. But okay, we can move ahead with it.
Okay, so now coming to my next question. So what do you think if you are participating this year? So how would you take this? How will you approach this problem statement?
Uh, so I would actually focus more on competitive benchmarking this year. So for a festival, I would have it would have been my priority to understand what each major competitor actually does on its own. Like, is Lollapalooza about particular global music identity, or is Sunburn about electronic music? So I would actually identify these things, and we can identify that what is the overall white space for the UN40. So only after identifying the white spaces, we would be able to like build more experience and give a concrete marketing strategy.
I second with whatever Mayank have already said. But adding to that, I feel this is a very broad case study, and to make it a bit specific, you need to identify the objectives at beforehand. So one of the objectives can be to research about this music festival culture. And the second thing, I think the finances will play a huge role in this. So I can see many financial metrics can come into place in this case competition. And if you are able to explain your numbers in a bit easy way to the panels, so that would be a game changer if you can do that.
Yes, and also when it comes to the solution, you need to be more streamlined towards a specific, like you need to be more streamlined about how you want that approach to go. Like you can start that what consumer actually needs when they talk about a music festival. What can be the competitive white space? Then what differentiated experience we can create? What will the economies that will come to play? Then how will we market? And then how do we implement it? So it needs to be streamlined accordingly. So if you are able to streamline the entire process, well, you will come with a concrete and a very stable solution.
That's really nice. Now coming to the last question. So, what any one advice for the students who are participating this year?
So seeing the case, so I think there is one synergy that I found in our case as well as the new case was that whenever a new person would read that case, immediately there would be a thing in his or her mind. In our case, it would be like that the Gen Zs do not like retro music, and that is the reason why they do not consume it. So this is the first thinking that strikes, and usually people do not research it and they just dive into the solution. And in this case as well, when I was reading over it, if I was a newbie starting a case competition, it would be like you just add on good artists, you just add on great comedians, you just add on good games, and the festival would be good. But that's not the case. I think students should research beforehand what is the need of the end consumer, why they do get frustrated, why do attend, and why they do not attend these kind of festivals. And this will become a link to the solution. The research will become the link to the solution. So I feel this should be the approach that the student should take, not just deep dive into the solution.
I
Yeah,
now
exactly. Yeah.
I mean,
So I think that one thing that they should absolutely have right is the differentiation factor that I want to create. Like UN40 is being put up against one of the well-established music events or let's say festivals. So before, like as Abhyankar had already mentioned, asking ourselves that what type of artist that UN40 needs to book, we actually can start with why would someone actually choose UN40 over any other festival? So
Correct.
once you have a compelling answer for that, the artist synergy, the experience, the partnership, execution, marketing, everything falls into the place. So it actually gives better direction. It just not become another good music festival. It should be something that actually can give you an upper hand over the competitors. So draft your differentiation factor accordingly. That will actually help you build a better idea.
that's really insightful. Now we are coming, since we have come to the end, we are opening the Q&A ground for all the students who are there. They can ask questions. So there is one question in the chat box. Like they wanted to ask, can you tell them their like how to approach just a second. Yeah, how to approach the survey to the target audiences because not everyone has that experience.
Okay.
For the
So
primary research.
yeah,
That
the
was
survey
the
for the
question.
primary research.
Yeah.
Okay, Mike, you can go ahead.
If you want to pick because
No,
you
you
again.
can, you can go ahead. You can go
Okay.
ahead.
So see, I am a person who is a very big music enthusiast. I'm a musician. Around your friend circle, you will actually find out people who are big music enthusiasts who actually attend different type of concerts or let's say different type of music festivals or events. So specifically talking about our case, as Abhyankar had mentioned, we recorded around 60 responses for the survey and 10 interviews, which was, yeah, 8 to 10 interviews that we took. So it's not a very big primary research that you're going to hold upon. If you can go around your college, you can take time and talk to your friends who are very who are music enthusiasts who are keen about music, then you can actually have a pretty decent amount, like even market research or a primary research of 40 to 45 members can actually yield you a very good solution or a very good insight out of that. So what your primary research main idea about primary research is not how many like candidates you are interviewing. Obviously, I won't be recommending that you just go for 10 to 15 candidates and then go ahead with the solution. That won't be concrete. At least try to target around 30 to 35. But it should be more about that how your questions are framed. Is it easy to understand? It should not be very like people should not fall into a dilemma that what this question is asking us, we are not able to understand what the question is. Primary questions should be very easy. And what I personally feel, if I am ever sent a primary research survey form, if any survey goes beyond 2.5 minutes, I rather like switch it off. I be like that. I don't want to be a part of this primary research anymore. Let this go off. So create a primary research in such a way that you are able to like capture the attention in less than 2 minutes, get your answers correct, get your audience to answer them. Our recommended time will be near 1 to 2 minutes to complete the entire form. Try to keep the bulleted questions or the radio questions more. Radio questions are basically those questions which has options, like let's say option A, option B, option C, option D, and type in the answers, just one or two, so that people don't have to type a lot. And this will be something that you need to like go ahead with this. 30 to 35, 40. 30 to 35 and 40 responses are more than good to go ahead with. If you have time, like if you have a spare extra day, then you can again go ahead. Anyways, anything extra does not hurt much, right? So, yes,
So there was this student
Abhyankar.
who asked the questions regarding this. If the problem is quite generic, so how they will, went through and start their approach and before strategize everything, reaching to the final solution.
You want to go ahead with this, Abhyankar? You want to take this?
Again, I don't understand the question. Can you repeat it?
Okay, yeah, I'll do that just a second. Yeah, so they were asking like how to draw guardrails around a case when the problem is this generic before reaching to the final solution.
Okay. So what you can do is that you can lay down a structure. You can write down things what needs to be needed for this particular case. That does not need to be matlab, a very uh, confirmed skeleton of the case competition, but it should give you an idea that what needs to be worked on. Uh, After that, you should be starting with the research. While you are doing the research, you will get to know about more things that you can be adding in that particular PPT. So again, you can then shrink down your solution after the research, because the broader problem this is, after the research, there will be few things that you will be eliminating, that this is not required, this is not required, this is required, this is necessary for your as per your solution, which you are proposing to the panelists. So I think this would be the proper approach. I think Mayank, if you can add anything.
I have two things that I have in my mind at this point. So first of all, that UN40 should be a cultural festival, not a music festival. Again, as SaReGaMa is rich in its music catalog, it should not just be another music festival. It should more likely be a cultural festival. So this should be one guardrail that needs to be set beforehand, like anchors, dancers, comedians, actors. They will be a part of this like festival. So which has already been mentioned in the case. So this should be one of the most important guardrail that needs to be put up ahead. Second guardrail I would put in this is we should actually focus on the repeatability and not the virality. Because again, if we talk about a festival, if I get a viral festival for once, does not guarantee that I'll get the same virality in the next upcoming years. Repeatability can actually help us ensure that what we are lacking behind, what needs to be done, and hence this structure should be created in such a way that this festival can be like organized again in the near future. Let's say uh, if we talk about sunburn, sunburn happens like every year, right? You will be able to attend sunburn. So there's a repeatable process. You should not hunt just for virality, you should hunt for the repeatability. So if you can set these two guardrails, I think that things will fall into their own places.
That's really nice. Okay, one more question has popped up. How did you guys go about finalizing what frameworks to use for your solution? Out
Okay,
I
of
think
the
Mayank,
so
you
suggestion.
can
many,
take this
yeah,
So
question.
many options that could have been
yeah. He
applied.
also asked like how to effectively use AI to improve our solution, if at all we should. Any tips or opinions from your experience regarding that? helpful.
Okay, so I would just give you a overview on the second part of the question that you have asked, how to use AI to improve the solution. Do not blindly give your case to the AI and ask it to like give you a draft or the solution that you want to go ahead with. Do not do that. That's like uh one of the negative things that will be actually impacting your case competition. Rather than you can use AI in a much more suitable way. Like if you want to have a image generated, you can use the AI for that. If you want to have a proper narrative, you can provide your solution to AI and ask for a proper storyline that can actually help connecting the dots between them. Use AI once you have your solution. Do not use AI before that to come to a solution, to derive to a particular solution. Do not use AI for that because ultimately, if you are using AI, many other people will be using AI. And approximately, like, let's say in today's world, we have actually seen it with our friends itself, not from particularly from our college, but from other colleges as well, because since we were preparing for MBA, so we do talk to other people as well. And many people actually tend to do this mistake that they put up their entire case, give it to the AI, and then they just frame whatever the solution AI has given. AI will give them a proper score that, okay, this solution will give you a 10 on 10 marks, or let's say 20 on 20 marks. But when the results come and when it's the time for the shortlist for the next round, you'll actually see that a not shortlisted tag will be in front of your name. So do not just blindly go with AI solution. You just need to use it in such a way that will help improvise your solution. Like have a proper narrative, have images generated. That is something that is fine. But entire solution, don't go for that.
I
For
think what
framework,
AI can
Abhyankar.
help I think what AI can help for is in the storyline part. Second is AI is very good in recommending insights from the data. So you can use that, but you need to validate again uh, by visiting your data again and again. Third thing is that to create campaigns, if you want to create a poster, if you want to create any ad campaign for the particular product launch, you can do that with AI. But if you will use AI for the whole case, what it does it, if you cross the line and you get shortlisted as well, you do not know your case at all. And when you will get in front of the panelist, they will uh, catch you in the second or third minute only that you do not know your case. It is just made by AI. So I think uh, AI should not be used for the entire case, but I think bits and parts of AI can be used.
I think we have any other question? Yeah, I think it's done. And there's somebody mentioned thank you, Mayank and Abhyankar. It was a really insightful session.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, so as
Thank
we
you
are
for having
concluding,
us.
thank you so much, genuinely, and thank you for walking us through every round and being honest with us for every round as well. And because not everyone is willing to share the real version actually, and that you did. And to everyone who's watching and who's going to watch this video, this is CaseCom Lab, an initiative by PrepBee. If this episode gave you something, and if it made you think differently about Saregama, about the case, about how you're going to approach TalentWood this year, then go and check out the full video and more case com breakdowns like this through our Charm Case Com course as well. The link is right there in the description, and subscribe and share it with the people who actually need it, and go crack that one slide. See you in the next one. Thank you, Bianca. Thank you, Mayank.
Thank you. All
Bye
the
bye.
best. Bye
Thank
bye.
you.